Howdy, folks. You're listening to Mornings with Rooster. I'm your host, James Gribben. I want to thank you guys for listening to this episode. Took a 2-week hiatus. Did I? Maybe it was a week and a half. Anyways, it's good to be back. Was out in Boston performing at the Boston Improv Festival with the team Heraldo, where we do improv in Spanish. And it was a lot of fun. Other than that, I think that's about it. My improv team at I.O. is officially being cut. We're being retired, so our final show is on September 27th, which is a Friday. No, the 28th, I'm sorry. 28th, Friday, September at 8 p.m., the final ride of Lou Malnati's and his little Herald boys. Or girls. So come check that out. We'll have comps, we'll have drinks, we'll get hammered, and then Saturday I will go to work, as occasionally I am required to do so. If you are a Fortune 500 or 600 to 700 company looking for podcasts that you want to send advertising or marketing money towards, get at me. Slide in my little tasty DMs. That sounds disgusting. Slide in my little tasty DMs. Yeah, I'll work with you, depending on what you are. As long as you're not a terrible company, we can definitely do business. So Enron and McDonald's, head for open waters. But if you're a nice company like Burger King or ExxonMobil, hit me up. Slide into my tasty DMs. Today's podcast features the fantastic, the hilarious, the amazing, the incredibly talented Claire Favret. She's in my phone right underneath a lady who I dated that was Claire. I don't want to say her last name because she's probably listening to me because she won't stop texting me. Just kidding. So I don't know why I even mentioned that. I always get confused when one of them texts me because their names are so close. Anyways, Claire Favret is an amazing performer. We are on the team Lou Malnati's Presents the Herald. And apparently her CIC team is retiring. So she's going to write, as I am going to write a lot more this fall, winter season. And yeah, we had a great conversation, and I hope you guys enjoy it, and thank you for listening. And this is way longer than those 30-second ones I was doing. So I appreciate you guys sticking around. And if you're not listening to this, just look for the music that starts playing. That means that the podcast is soon to follow. So thank you, and enjoy the show. Claire Favret, have fun. I just cleaned it too, because who was it?
I listened to your one with Sarah.
Porter? Mm-hmm. Did you like it?
Yeah, I did. You all are freaks.
Yeah, we are. Talking about serial killers and shit.
I was like, they're going to stop talking about serial killers soon. And it was the whole podcast.
We talked about how much we hated our current and post or previous jobs, and then it just turned into serial killers.
Pretty quick.
Very quick.
How's this? This feels good, right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I'll get away from it a little bit. But yeah, I just put a Clorox wipe to it because someone mentioned like how gross mics are at like open mics. I'm like, yeah, I get that.
It smells like Clorox in
Does
a good
it?
way. Not bad.
Okay.
It's Clorox.
Proof's in the pudding. Wiped it down. Are you not into serial killers?
I think they're interesting. I just didn't have the level of expertise that you guys did.
She knows her shit.
She really does.
I only knew what I did because I had to learn it for my tours, but like I knew a little bit about it, all of them.
Right, the H.H. Holmes.
Creepy man.
Just burped.
I didn't hear it, didn't count.
Great. I had a hiccup attack at work today, so I'm hoping that doesn't happen again.
Where it just like for an extended period of time? If it starts right now.
It was bad. I was like laughing and then it was so loud. You know
what you do? Drink a bunch of water.
I do that, but upside down.
I can't do that.
I do water upside down, I hold my breath, and then also water with your hands in the air.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just like...
You just drink from a straw. You go like this.
Huh. Yeah, drinking upside down, I feel like I'm being waterboarded or something.
But that's what does it. That's what does it. It freaks your whole system out, and then the hiccups are gone.
That can't be good.
Well, hiccups are bad. Hiccups are not good.
What's wrong with hiccups?
They're painful.
They are.
Sometimes.
What kind of
And
hiccups
they're
are you having?
embarrassing. Really bad ones.
They're not embarrassing.
They are in the workplace when it's a very quiet afternoon.
Damn. I miss working in a quiet place.
That's a whole issue, actually. I think our department is the loudest one in a very quiet place, and I'm always like embarrassed, like as if they're my rowdy family at Applebee's, and I'm just like, please be quiet.
2 more hours.
But I think I'm like too self-conscious of it. Like I think like other people are just like, that's the art department, and I'm just like, we should shut up more. Just the writers. We work near the writers, and they're very focused, quiet people.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, they don't need to be as bawdy as we are.
Do you get to listen to podcasts and radio and all that stuff at work?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I listen to Rooster in the morning.
What is that? Mornings with Rooster?
I definitely changed it into a radio show.
It sounds like a radio show anyways, Mornings with Rooster.
I definitely changed it like, this is Rooster in the morning. Well, I listen to Mornings with Rooster with the Buffalo
Thank
today.
you. Yeah, I have a coworker who hates that it's Mornings with Rooster, and I usually record in the evenings, and that it's a bison with a rooster name, logo, title.
Why?
I don't know.
No. Why is it? Why did you do that?
Which one?
The
rooster or the bison?
The bison.
Oh, the bison. I just thought it would be a cool image in my head. And what I have now, like the logo, is like what I wanted. Mm-hmm. But I was
it's very pretty.
Oh, thanks. I met a country singer, performer, musician in Arizona. She had a free concert the day after my birthday.
Who?
Summer Dean.
I don't know who that is.
I'll send you some stuff. She's really good. Shout out to Summer Dean. I'm gonna start
I love
tagging
country.
people. Really? Mm-hmm. Hell yeah. How did I not know this?
I don't know, girl. I'm not sending you my playlists.
Damn. I feel like I always talk about country with soon-to-be expired Lou Malnati's, and I get no love from the homies.
Wait, you talk about it on
Country
our team?
music? I don't know. I feel like I do.
I thought you were going to name one member of the team. That's why I was waiting. I thought you were going to say, I talk about it with Lou Malnati's member.
No.
Blank.
Damn.
You talk about it with me. I love country.
Oh, yeah. What's some of your go-tos?
Right now, Jason Isbell. He's coming to Chicago on Friday. I'm going to see him.
Where, Wrigley?
No. He's
That's a country spot.
It is a country spot. That is the country spot for the country musicians I listened to in high school, which I'm not embarrassed of. I've just evolved.
Yeah.
I loved all those like pop country people.
Nash
but
trash.
Jason Isbell is like Nash trash, yeah. Jason Isbell is not Nash trash. He is a woke Nash king.
What?
Yes.
Woke Nash King?
It's probably out of control for me to call him that, but he's like very much a progressive. Like, and like his songs are like, I love him. They're like beautiful storytelling, like, and he's just like very thoughtful. Like he's like does your songs about growing up in a small town, but they're like bleak and like sad, or like you know they're like mixed feelings, and like he does a song about like unions and like hard work and like how it breaks people. Like it's not like, I don't know, like I love pop country, but it's very like simple. Like it's just like he worked hard and this and
Dirt Roads is like checklist.
Yes, there's
Farmer's
the checklist.
Daughter
like,
checklist.
Bo Burnham has that very specific joke
great
about
bit.
that. I love it, and I loved it in high school so much because like I wished that that's the kind of person I was in high school. Like it's like the cheerleader who dates the football captain. Like Carrie Underwood literally has a song about that. Like, and it just seems so like beautiful and simple and like, but it's like that's very few people's actual lives.
Sure.
And
it's probably boring as fuck.
It's probably boring.
Once that like everything settles down and like 2 years into that marriage.
Yeah. It just sounds really nice because you don't worry about anything. Like you're the cheerleader and you date the football captain, and then you have an all-American girl. That's the name of the song.
Carrie Underwood?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the name of the song. Like it's about a all-American girl who is her daddy's girl, and then she dates the football captain, and then they get married, and then they have a girl. And then she's an all-American girl. It is really just about how families are made, I think. Just how Carrie Underwood explains how babies are made. But I just thought it was so, I mean, I didn't like I wouldn't cop to loving it around my peers, but I like secretly loved it because it just was like such a pretty picture. But yeah, like obviously life doesn't unfold like that, and so many people aren't the homecoming queen, and they're not reflected really in those types of songs.
True.
Not to mention, like, what if you're a woman who doesn't want to date men, not let alone the football captain? Like, you're just not. There's no place for you in most country music.
True.
But yeah, at the time, it sounded really cool to me. Also, I read this really cool article, not cool, like intense article about how so many country musicians sing about alcohol, sing about drinking, and profit from it too. Like a lot of them have money or even own like an alcohol label. Like tons of them, or own bars. Like
Toby Keith's I Love This Bar.
And like I'm not keeping up as well with like the new guys, but I think Florida Georgia Line I think has a bar in Nashville.
Okay.
That's like lying around the corner every single night. Like, and like tons of them profit off drinking. Like Brad Paisley, I think, is the one who has a bar on stage.
He should team up with Bud Light, Bud Paisley.
Oh my gosh. I bet he fucking did. I mean, like, there's definitely a case of someone who changed the name of the alcohol in their song because an alcohol paid them to do it.
Oh, I remember it was a pop song. It was, I don't know why I remember, but David Guetta. I think Nicki Minaj or someone drops
Well, Nicki Minaj owns
Bud Light Lime.
mixed liquor. Oh, but in a country song, they changed the name of like, I think it's like something in the console. So some drink in the console. Talking about drinking and driving, and it says the name of drink in a console. I could be wrong. I don't know if an alcohol label would get behind that, but definitely one alcohol label went to a country singer or band and was like, change it to this, and they did, and they get paid money. And I think is Brad Paisley Red Solo Cup?
No, that's Toby Keith.
Are you sure? Bish, I'm gonna Google this.
Please do. I think it's off the album Made in America. I could be wrong on the album though.
I'm so sure it's Brad Paisley.
Side story, I was traveling around in Europe. I was in France, in Normandy, and I was at this French party. Yeah, baby, she's looking it up. She's finding the T, the O, the B, the Y.
You're so right.
Of course I'm right. I know my Toby Keith.
Oh, you're so... Now I can hear it in my head. It's definitely his voice. But what is
Red Solo Cup is cheap and disposable.
Yeah.
And
I sound like Tim Allen.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, damn, I was trying to sound like Toby Keith.
No, but Toby Keith sounds like Tim Allen.
Oh,
kind
cool.
of.
Thank you.
What's the song that Brad Paisley sings? Who cares? You were in Europe.
Oh, yeah, and I was at this party, all these French people, and they started playing Red Solo Cup, and they loved the song because it was an easy way for them to learn to know the English lyrics.
Wow.
So I was in Normandy, France, listening to Toby Keith, and I didn't play it for the first time in a long time.
You didn't play Toby Keith in Normandy, France.
Yeah, I wasn't the guy playing it.
I will say that is true for Americans too. Like when I was learning to drive is when I would pick the country radio station and turn it on. Like if I was alone, like and I was a terrible driver. And so I couldn't listen to podcasts or audiobooks. Like it had to be something very simple. And so country music, and you can sing along to country music like even if you're just hearing it for the first time.
Yeah.
Because once you hear the chorus once, you can pretty much figure out the rest of it. And you can even guess most of the rhymes. Right. And so it's like if you're on a road trip and you want something easy to sing along with, country music, pop country, Solo Cup country, tailgate, Solo Cup country.
Yeah.
It's going to be your best bet.
Some Eric Church or what's his face? I was just talking, Kenny Chesney.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
I used to work with a guy who would impersonate Kenny Chesney because he looked just like him.
Wow.
And he would go and tour with Kenny Chesney in the same cities. And eventually the manager of Kenny Chesney reached out to him. He's like, you need to stop coming to the same cities that Kenny's in and getting drunk and sleeping with all these women pretend to be Kenny.
Whoa.
Like that kind of stuff. He was just like, he would go to bars and they would like, oh, give him all the royal treatment, red carpet.
And he's no shoes, right? No shoes, no shirt, no problem.
Huh?
Isn't Kenny Chesney the song?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And so his fans are called the No Shoes Nation.
Ooh,
and they
I didn't know that.
They lose their minds tailgating and stuff. I mean, but this
Shout
is
out to the Carolinas, who tailgate better than anybody.
Sure. I don't know if I can find that.
Also, good luck with that hurricane. That's not a bit.
Oh, that's so serious.
Yes.
Have you ever been through?
I've been in a small... Well, it was that hurricane in 2011 that came up through the Northeast, like New York City. Remember they were like evacuating all of fucking New York City?
Yeah.
I was in Maine. So we were just like staying in a motel, and it like blew through, and like all the power went out for like 12 hours. And then we went outside. It was all like fucked up, but
I was in college and they evacuated campus for that one. 2011, I'm pretty sure.
What college?
William and Mary.
Where is that?
In Virginia.
Where in Virginia?
Williamsburg. Colonial.
Nice.
Reenactors.
I love it.
They were there. The place I grew up in also had colonial reenactors. So I just thought every town had colonial reenactors for a really long time.
I love that.
I just thought that every place was like, this is what we did in the olden days here. Like,
it's fun. I would do it.
I think a lot of places do. You do a version of that. I mean, you don't dress up, but you know what happened in the olden days in Chicago at your tour job. You kind of do that.
Yeah. Well, when we were in Boston, there was a walking tour guide. He dressed up like one of the guys. Like, he had the triangle hat, and he was, like, carrying around. I was like, dude, that sucks.
Yeah. But they're in a lot of places, but especially in the places where I spent my time in my youth.
Right. What would you do if, like, Chase came home one day? He's like, hey, you know what, babe? I think I'm going to get into Civil War reenactments.
I actually have told Chase that I think that we're just waiting. This is really saying a lot, but I feel like everyone has a thing. Every middle-aged man has a thing.
He's not a middle-aged man.
No, he's not. He's not even close. Oh my gosh, no, that's not what I'm saying.
Let the record show she's not dating a middle-aged man.
No. But they have like something that they get into.
Oh yeah.
And it's usually after kids. Not everyone has kids, but it's usually like post-kids, post-infancy. Like I would say that my dad is really getting into photography right now. iPhone photography and iPhone filters.
Okay.
And like putting them in a slideshow and like thinking about them and thinking about the angles and looking at them side by side and spending a lot of time on his iPad, like filtering, picking different filters and stuff. And I think he even took like a iPhone photography like class, like improving the photos you take on your iPhone.
Right.
So nothing too sinister, obviously,
sure.
But it's just kind of funny. It's like, oh, this is what my dad is, really into these days. And I guess like you could say it for women too, but I feel like you really notice it in a dad. Like, and a lot of dads pick up the Civil War or the World War II books but yeah, I'm like, I don't know what Chase's is going to be. I think it can't be something that you're like really into right now, because that would just be like just intensifying something you're already into. It kind of has to come out of nowhere. Yeah.
Oh, now I have more time to do something I still like to do.
And you're like, you garden? I bet you I've never seen you touch the dirt. Like, it's something like that. Do you know what yours would be?
What mine would be? Oh, I don't know.
It's going to surprise you.
I think so. I would love right now to have like chickens, like a chicken coop, and like have my own eggs, or like a garden would be really dope.
See, but I think you're already kind of too into that stuff.
Yeah.
Because you already are like thinking about like self-sustaining food a lot.
Yeah.
And you think about like hunting, and so like livestock and gardening does not, to me, those are linked. Like, I would be way more surprised if you were like, I'm going to buy a boat and be a boat douchebag. Like, I'd be like, that is a twist. It's not
Claire,
a middle-age crisis.
Boat douchebag.
It's like adjacent to the middle-age crisis.
Yeah.
A boat might be.
I can't do boats because I get seasick. So
but that might be the true 180 of it all.
Oh, when it just goes away?
It just goes away, and all of a sudden you have a craving for the high seas.
You start seeing my posts of like me and my son's go-kart racing, like competitive go-kart racing, touring the country.
Someone's decided on sons. How many?
5, hello.
Oh my God, no.
So they can be stars on the Mexican national basketball team.
What happens if you have a daughter? Be real with me.
Next.
Jimmy, you're not going to be like the
off
dad
to China. Off to China with
girl?
her. Off with her.
Stop.
Where do they need girls? China?
No, the dad in All American Girl. He thinks he wants a boy. He's fantasizing about throwing the football, and then all of a sudden it's a little girl, and then he's thrilled.
What song is this?
The Carrie Underwood song I was talking about.
Well, this is the Jim Gribben country song, and I'm throwing her ass to China.
I'm gonna make sure I tell the person that you procreate with to get the fuck out.
Whoever's listening live. And can you find out where they need women? Oh, it's got to be like one of the Nordic countries. I think it's like Norway or Sweden.
Yeah, I read this study that because like they don't have a lot of women in certain parts of Alaska, like where it's just like oil rig labor and like
the rig pigs.
Mm-hmm. And it's like really dangerous.
What do you mean dangerous?
Like it's really dangerous to be a woman who lives there.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen the movie Wind River?
Oh, Shit, yeah. With Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
I just saw that on Netflix like a month ago.
Doesn't it? It's pretty It's so. I thought it was a great movie, but it was very intense.
It was intense. It was a little like, again, heavy-handed. I know I just used that expression, but like it kind of reminded me of like a David. What's his face? The guy who did Training Day. Anyways,
I don't take down director names ever.
But the end, I was like, this guy is like such a valiant effort. But I was like, this guy would be done after like 2 guys punching him. he like takes on an entire crew of like rapist thugs.
Oh! I thought you meant the director.
No. Sorry.
The character. Okay, you're spoiling, girl. I was just saying it was intense.
Sorry.
Well, I think you just said this guy and thugs. I think what you know once you arrive that something bad is going on and there are like dangerous people.
Yeah.
I know what you mean by heavy-handed. I just thought I really like that director. I don't know his name, but I know that he did Hell or High Water and Sicario.
No.
Sicario?
No, the writer.
He's the writer.
Yeah,
and he directed one of them?
I think he directed Hell or High Water.
Okay. And I love his movies. Like, they're like neo-westerns, I think.
Yes. See, that's the crazy thing. I loved Sicario.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Then, it's so good. Did you see the second one?
It's not out yet.
Oh, it's out. It might already be out of theaters.
Bitch, what?
Yeah, look it up. Go ahead. I'm 1 for 1. I'm about to be 2 for 2.
No, I believe you.
It came out in like July.
I believe you. I'm just excited. Listen, I'm clearly going to believe everything you say for the rest of the podcast.
Perfect.
But I forgot. It sounds right. I just can't believe I didn't go see it.
Yeah, it came out in July. It's entertaining.
Day of the Soldado. I'm going to go watch this tonight.
They screwed up. They should have just called it Soldado.
Do you think so?
Because it's so much cooler if it's Sicario and Soldado. It's like bookends rather than like Sicario, Day of the Soldado. Like
the Facebook.
The face, yeah.
The part.
Drop
Justin Timberlake.
Yeah. That's my job. That's what I would love to do. Just walk around and like, and by the way, drop the Sicario Day of the. Just make it Soldado. It's cleaner.
Okay, question.
Yes.
What would be your dream job if
money wasn't an option?
If you got paid a lot to do a job that was like, okay, this is very, very specific. Okay, shut the fuck about daughters. I caught that. Okay. If it's a lazy job, but it's still fun enough to keep you interested. It's interesting, but it's lazy, and you get paid plenty. Whatever you need to be comfortable in.
What is a lazy job like? Where you sit?
Like, I'm thinking naming nail polish colors. I think a lot of people fantasize about that job.
What?
To be like, this one's like, you gotta be kidding me. But, like, it's, like, punny. A lot of them are very punny.
Okay.
So I guess that would be hard.
Still, yeah.
Hard for me. But, like, maybe naming, like, textile colors. Like, it's like, this curtain comes in sheer mauve.
Right.
Fun.
Let me think about it for a second.
Yeah.
I want it to be a good one. Just like my midlife crisis hobby.
Yeah.
Also, the boat douchebag. What was? Could you finish the story or article you were reading about the country singers and booze?
This is a deep pull from the beginning, but
I was like, I had it in the back of my head. I was like,
you're so good. I feel like I constantly move on to the next subjects without finishing anything. Fair. It was just an article about how like so many of them profit off of alcohol, and their fans definitely drink a lot of alcohol, and sometimes like feel encouraged to do that because of their songs. Everyone should take responsibility for their own shit, but like it's a huge culture of drinking, and it's only grown in country music, and a lot of them don't even drink that much. Like Brad Paisley's bar that he has on stage, it just has vitamin water in all the bottles. And like he like denied that, but then like another band that opened for him was like, no, it was definitely vitamin water. Like, and he pretends to take shots during the concert.
That's so lame.
Well, it's like, it's not just that, but it's also like showing your fans that this is okay, when in fact in real life you're like, I know this is very harmful and I'm not going to do this, because if I did this every night, that'd be terrible. And a lot of them are like pretending to do that every night, but they actually have toned it down quite a bit. And then also the average income of country music listeners has increased. And so the songs are not about like drinking to get through your terrible blue collar job anymore. They're about just partying and living for like the weekend and stuff. And also the amount of country listeners on the coasts has increased, while the amount of country music listeners in the middle of America has stayed the same. So it's like not really music for, it can be music for blue collar people, but it's also music for like wealthy people who love to drink
Sure.
and are probably Republican and white. That's assuming a lot, but
Yeah, you're right. I also think another thing is like the quality and like the style or genre like shift in country music, where it's like now you have good country on the radio again, or like popular, like Sturgill Simpson, Chris Stapleton,
love Chris.
Margot Price.
I love Margot
Yeah.
so much. Jason Isbell, I put him up there. Jason Isbell's wife, Amanda Shires.
Yeah.
There's another one, but I can't remember her name. Ashley something.
But
Yeah.
it's like these good...
Ashley Monroe.
Ashley Monroe? I'll have to write that down. But it's these good country bands and musicians. So like normal like NPR listening white people on the coast are listening to Sturgill Simpson and Chris Stapleton.
Yes.
So I think that's probably a big part of it, where it's not just like the dumbass Bo Burnham making fun of country. And then...
But I think there's two kinds of country now. If not more. But like there's party pop country.
Yeah.
Which if you go anywhere and you tune into the country station, you're gonna hear mostly that.
Yeah, I'd say
90%.
100%.
And then there's folky country,
Yeah.
which is like storytelling tradition and like kind of like that more oh my gosh, I can't think of it. John Prine and then Willie Nelson tradition, and then branching out from there. And even like Johnny Cash, like I would say is closer to these guys than it is to the country we hear on country radio today. And like you would hear that on like a more like an independent radio station, like a folky one or an NPR one.
100%.
And I feel like that's two different audiences. Bless you, Jimmy.
Thank you. It's very true. My buddy Tommy was like, I wonder how big Woody Nelson is going to be after he dies. You know what I mean?
Willie Nelson.
I said
or Woody
Woody.
Guthrie. Both.
I haven't been able to sleep.
Oh,
Willie
why?
Nelson.
What's up?
I don't know. I'm so tired that I'm not sleeping well.
Do you have
I said
sleep
Woody Nelson. I was
anxiety?
like, that's not it.
No, but I legit was wondering if you were talking Woody Guthrie or Willie Nelson.
Oh,
Probably
my
Willie
bad.
Nelson. Best in context clues.
Yeah, once he dies, like how popular Willie Nelson will be. Like Johnny Cash, I feel like he had a huge like resurgence or whatever after he died in 2003 or whatever.
Yes.
But yeah,
He's definitely got that, like, people say his name in country songs, which I think is so... People say Hank. Like, pop country will name drop Hank.
dude, Hank would not listen to your fucking
Exactly.
music, bro. He also
so
like
strange to me.
he was a fucking like wild child, not like a piece of shit, but just a fucking
he died
hellcat.
from drinking too much and doing too many drugs.
So like I can only imagine like Brad Paisley like cheers to Hank and like we're Hank's children, blah blah blah, drinking like shots of vitamin water. I'm like, give me a break, dude.
I mean, I think it's good to cut drinking out of your life if you see it's a problem, but I think it is a little hypocritical to profit off of drinking in your music and in your like literal investments that you make financially. If you understand that actually it's not healthy to do that.
But what about like someone who opens up a like a craft brewery or a distillery?
I mean,
Or a winery.
Listen, I love Miranda Lambert, and she has a wine.
Does she?
And I don't know how to feel
that?
about that. I don't
What's
know.
wrong with it?
I mean, I think it's lovely that because I love her, and like I'm sure she cares a lot because she legit seems to love drinking and sings a lot about like her problems with it. A lot is a strong word, like one or two songs. But I just think it's you can invest in so many things. I guess she cares a lot about wine, I think.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably saying it too strong. But she likes drinking. I'm sure she like... It's like how Rihanna makes makeup and underwear. Like, I think those are things Rihanna's legitimately interested in, would do a good job making, and has done a good job making. At least I hear about the makeup. It's really good. I have one of them. But, like, I don't know. Alcohol's a dangerous game to me, especially if you stand... I don't know. It just, like, it will keep you from telling the truth if your views change, but you, like, make money off of it. Like, it's, like, the same thing as, like... You know, people have questions about who has, like when a news station has a certain advertiser, you know, are they going to tell the truth about XYZ tires? You know, if those tires are found to be bad, if they advertise with them, like, it's just that thing of just like, if you find that you need to stop drinking and you want to write an album about it, but you're like, I have huge investments in alcohol, like you might not write an album about that.
Fair.
who cares?
Feel pressure to include it somehow.
Yeah.
Fireball.
Yeah.
How do I write
Yeah.
Fireball into my song?
But like for real, they're out here doing that. I don't know.
I mean, I'm totally for it. Like as far as like the credibility of the artist and the like the honesty of it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm like, if you can make some money, it's tough to make money in this world. I was thinking about that today. Like,
It is. I don't think any of those artists have any trouble with that, but I do know, like, you want to secure something for your kids and your family too. And like, music is hard to like secure anything with, and I understand. Like, you're like, I'm gonna make a product, and that's gonna be my kids' college fund or whatever.
And I'm sure like most of them grew up poor or like low middle class because like with that kind of work ethic to get to where you are, like you probably come from like humble beginnings.
I believe that. I don't know though. There's a lot of sneaky Taylor Swifts out there.
Oh, but Taylor Swift's not a.
She's not a country singer anymore. I wouldn't.
Was she ever?
I mean, she moved to Nashville. She made her dad and her whole family relocate to Nashville.
That's the thing. Like
He's
the coast.
Rich. Yes.
Like the like everyone's saying y'all now. I'm like, when did y'all take over?
Okay, I'm in favor of that though.
Why?
Because I read this whole thing about how it's actually a very helpful gender neutral thing to call people. Like, you're not like ladies and gentlemen, which can like leave some people feeling cold, left out.
I can't say ladies and gentlemen anymore.
I'm not. Listen, Jimmy, I'll never tell you what to do.
I'm huffing. I'm puffing.
Girl.
But ladies and gentlemen,
you can't listen. I'm never going to tell you what not to do.
Mambo number 5. So I can't listen to Lou Bega anymore.
You can listen to Lou Bega.
Great, I can't listen to Mambo number 5. Now, what are they going to take out next?
God.
Ladies and gentlemen, damn, that's a big one to get rid of.
Is it?
Ladies and gentlemen,
how many times do you say that per year?
I usually have about 6 parties I host. Jesus. And I always say, ladies and gentlemen, the festivities have begun.
Only if you host a circus.
Ladies and gentlemen, do not try this at home. What you are about to see is a man with a sword.
Okay, but I feel like, so what are you going for? You're trying to sound fancy?
I'm trying to sound like a
magician.
Barnable Barker dude.
Okay, I would just say my distinguished guests.
My dudes?
My dudes.
Can you just say, is dude gender neutral?
I think it is, but I feel like lots of people have offered lots of thoughts on the subject. Some people like it and some people don't like it, and I think probably the best thing is just to ask.
How about we compromise?
Okay.
We keep y'all regionally to where it's regionally used. We pick up yous, which is gender neutral.
From
yous want to come.
Where's that from?
Oh, yous is like East Coast.
Oh, wait, yins is Pittsburgh.
Yins is, Pittsburghese.
Why can't we just have them all?
Yous guys want to come to the bar?
Yeah, sure.
Yous
Why don't we
dudes?
just have them all? Yins, yous, y'all.
Yins is probably the most gender neutral.
Yins is so funny.
Yeah.
Because
It's
it has
weird.
nothing to fucking do with the word. Except for the letter Y.
Yeah, the Y, and that's it. Have you heard like a good Pittsburgh accent?
Well, Nicole Antonuccio.
What?
She's from Pittsburgh, and she does a really good one.
Does she?
Mm-hmm.
That's
like she'll lean into it.
Okay.
Or if she's had a drink, it'll start coming out.
That one, because it's like they don't get a lot of light shined on them. Like that one, and then Maine. I recently heard someone do like a Maine accent, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?"
When I think Maine, I hear like lobster. That's what I think.
It's kind of like that, but it's like a Boston accent, but it got like mud on it or something. You're just kind of like, oh, it's a dirty, like, I don't know, they're driving in a Boston accent, and then like.
Can I tell you? We watched James Bond. We watched a James Bond.
We can't swear on this.
I know that's a lie.
I'm sponsored by a couple Christian paramilitary groups.
Paramilitary girl.
From Paraguay.
We watched James Bond, and I made
Which one?
Casino Royale. I've never seen it. You don't like it?
I like the goofy Pierce Brosnan ones. Anyways.
Oh, I see. I want to watch them all. I'm a new fan of James Bond, and we started with Skyfall. I think we watched Skyfall, Spectre, and Casino Royale, and now I want to go back in time.
You got to watch. What's the last one? Quantum of Solace.
I haven't seen Quantum of Solace.
It is
Did
bad.
You? It's bad. See,
you're like halfway through it. You're like, wait, has the movie started?
Oh shit!
Like it doesn't take off like the story. You're just kind of like, wait, what is going on?
My favorite one is like one of the worst ones. I think.
Which one?
I loved Spectre, which did not get good reviews.
See, they have these like.
But I loved it because I was cracking up the whole time.
They have these generic names, and I can't.
I know.
Is Spectre the third one that he did?
Okay.
Daniel Craig?
I don't know, but Sam Smith sings the song, Writing on the Wall, which is another reason why I like it. I think it's such a good James Bond song.
Is that the one with Mexico City at the beginning?
Yes, and the ring. The ring. He catches the bad guy, and the bad guy has a ring with an octopus on it. It's like the opening scene, like he's like walking through a Dia de los Muertos parade, I'm pretty sure.
Spectre's the latest one.
Is
right?
it? It is.
Yeah.
It
What's the one before that then? What was the other one you listed?
Skyfall.
Skyfall. Yeah, Skyfall's where he does the Home Alone at the end.
Yes.
I was like, dude, this is fucking Macaulay Culkin.
But it was so fun. It was so fun. And Judi Dench is there.
Judi Dench. Yin's guys want to come see a Judi Dench film.
Guys, that's what I was going to say is I made Chase turn on subtitles for British people because I can't understand them.
Dude, sometimes it's rough.
I was dying laughing because as soon as we turned on subtitles, I was like, that's what you're saying? They were like, and I was like, what the fuck? It was out of control. It was out of control. I was like, that is not talking. You didn't open your mouth to say any of that.
Dude, Irish and Scottish sometimes, I have to look at their mouths when they talk. It's kind of like Appalachian accents sometimes. I'm like, I really have to like stop what I'm doing. I'm like, this is embarrassing if I don't understand this person because it's still English and I need to know what they're saying.
I need subtitles for everything.
Really?
Everywhere I go in life. There's so many times that I'm like, what?
Do you have a favorite U.S. accent? No? Love them all?
Love them all equally.
God bless you.
I think one of the improv's favorite accents is Southern. I think that is a bad habit that we all have, including me.
That's some racist shit.
Me?
No. Finish. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, but it's like shorthand for a dummy.
Or, I'm going to fuck my sister. Like,
Yeah.
And they're bad Southern accents, and there's a lot of different Southern accents. So it's just like, and it's kind of like when people do like a British accent, they always just go with like Cockney, and there's like, that's really like so small.
I hate when someone does a British accent in improv unless it really, really needs to be done for that scene. I don't know why. It just feels like theater kid.
Yeah.
I don't know. Listen, I'm sure I have so many friends who do British accent and they're probably great. I just
Fair.
it really, I'm like, why? We're in America. Like, just stop. It's so rude. I just, God.
Yeah. I read this article a few years ago that it was talking about that I don't know what the accentism or like that accents are the last frontier for like how people will be like prejudiced or like viewed, as opposed to like once racism's gone and sexism, ageism, all the stuff, like accents still, because like people will view you based on your accent. So like if you have a Southern accent, people are going to think you're unintelligent or that you're just have like a preconceived notion, or that you're Republican or whatever. And or like in the news, like they always say like get rid of your accent. It's always got to be like this, you know,
if you're an anchor.
Yeah, like general American accent.
That's really, I don't know if I can get on board with that. That's a wild, I would never have thought that.
You can't get on board? What do you mean?
I just mean like I would have never, if you were like, what's the last prejudice? I would have never, ever guessed accents.
Well, probably because everyone's going to like make sure all the other ones are covered, and then accents will,
We're all
the ones that are way more important.
But I feel like those ones are going to take so long.
Oh, they'll never go away.
They'll never go away. It's like a toxin in the air, like you learn about like in like chemistry. Like if a toxin is released, like it will always have a half-life. I'm probably speaking about this incorrectly, but there's always, you can never get rid of it. It's always just going to go down and down and down until it's. You may as well not have it in the air. It's so
and then something could
non-toxic.
stir it to.
No.
I'm not saying I wanted to. I imagine it could get bigger.
No, I don't think.
Get a full life.
I don't think the concern is that you can like bring it back up.
Okay.
It just means that it's always there. It's never like if you put a bunch of salt into a glass of water, and now it's salt water.
Yeah.
And you're like, I need to make the salt go away. You could boil it and get rid of it. But anyway, and then the water would be gone. But like I think the idea here is that you just add more and more water. So you transfer it to a bigger bowl and you just add a ton of water. And you drink that water. You're probably, if you add enough water, you won't taste the salt anymore. But it's still in there.
Sure.
So that's what I mean. Like, I feel like to me that's like racism. Like, we're going to do a lot, hopefully. We like all these efforts and all these great things that people have put forth. And like if we all do our homework and we all keep reading, in like 200 years, it'll be greatly improved, hopefully.
Yeah.
But it'll always be there.
Yeah.
Because we enslaved people of a certain color, and like we can never It's like when you put the salt in the water, you can't take it out.
Yeah.
It's just there.
True.
I don't know. I'm really speaking out of turn here.
No.
I'm a little out of pocket. But
No, not at all. I think obviously I'm a white guy in America, but like I think we've done a okay job maybe as a world or even as the country, like considering how recently we had slavery and like how recently black people can vote and stuff like that, like for where we are now, like with what's acceptable and like in the main, like if you were to say something on TV or like instantly you're fucking fired, or like in the workplace, you know what I mean? Like I think we do a good job of like officially covering stuff, like obviously in the home or like on a personal level, who knows, but
yeah.
I don't know.
I feel that. I do. I think it's so hard because it feels like on some level, yeah, like if you do that or say that, you're out. But at the same time, like there are white nationalists who run for Congress and win. Like it's so confusing.
True. Yeah.
And like
It's great.
and we have like a president who says a ton of like crazy shit. So I don't know the answer. Like I feel like in some areas like it's like that's not cool. But then at the same time there's some really crazy blatant open or not as open. I think the problem is when it's not open.
Yeah.
When it's like guarded, like that dude who said that like weird comment in Florida about like not monkeying up this election. And like people were like, that's really weird that you said that. And like he's just like, I'm talking about don't elect a Democrat. And it's like and the race will be tight because it's Florida. And like that is wild.
Yeah. Damn. I always get upset with Donald Trump about the kneeling or taking a knee in football games. Mm-hmm. I'll read an article and it's like, I mean, I don't want to get too political, but
Too late, girl.
too late.
You got me on the mic.
Yes, let's get into it then. It's my show. I don't have any sponsors. I can say whatever the fuck I want.
Wow. But are you trying to get sponsored?
I am. I'm always trying to get sponsors. Let me know.
Malnati's?
Fuck Lou Malnati's. I don't like Chicago pizza. They can
Fair.
kiss my butt.
Okay. Well, here you go, alienating sponsors. What if they were listening and they're like, I like this guy, and then they're like, fuck.
I have like a list on an Excel spreadsheet of like people I'm reaching out to. I'm like, please sponsor me. Levi Strauss, please sponsor me.
Damn. You should, yeah.
Epic beef jerky.
What if in a year's time I come on and I can't say anything like controversial at all? Like all I'm allowed to do is talk about how great beef jerky is.
What do you think about that Gatorade Blue Electric? Isn't that pretty good?
I love it.
It's coming out next
There's a
month.
gun to my head.
What's your favorite Gatorade flavor? No, but Donald Trump, when he tweets like not respectful, I'm like, you dodged the fucking Vietnam draft. And like I'll like text my uncle just crazy. Like I'll show you after we're done. I showed my roommates the list of our like text threads. It's just like just flicking down all day. I'll be at work just texting them for just arguing. Like going.
Is your uncle Republican?
Hardcore. And I'm a hardcore libertarian / I might be an anarchist. That's my what I get. I might get into that when I hit my middle-age crisis, anarchy.
Oof.
But
I'll fight you.
Okay, let's go.
Okay.
I'm like, dude, he dodged the draft, and then like I told him that American football is the most dangerous threat to this country, more than ISIS. I'm like, ISIS doesn't take up Saturday, all day Saturday and all day Sunday of our young men and women, and just puts them on a couch and makes them fatter and unhealthier and more unproductive. They could go out and volunteer and help America's youth, but American football sits them down for 48 hours. And he was like, that is...
You're really throwing a lot at your uncle.
Yeah, I get him riled up, and then he'll send me like a text that's just like fucking 8-inch long text on my phone.
So y'all like to fight?
Love it.
So does he have a good time? Do you think as much as one that you're having?
I think so. Every now and again he'll be like, I have to go. I have 4 kids.
So he has fun too.
Yes.
Well, that's beautiful. You're keeping the door open.
Yeah, no.
It's a zesty door, but
I never close the door on anything. I'm always...
You're there to listen if he...
Yeah, I love arguing. It's fun. I argued with my my other roommate the other day. We watched Netflix Explained. You ever watch those?
I don't think so.
They're pretty cool. It's I think that used to be a podcast, or it still is, and they just do 20-minute episodes of a subject.
Ooh.
So it's like marijuana or K-pop.
Ooh.
And we watched one on like genetic engineering, and I was pissed.
Uh-oh.
And she's totally for it.
Sounds like a libertarian.
Totally against it. Well, libertarian would be for it.
Really?
Yeah, it's like do whatever you want.
Don't regulate. Okay, yeah. I was thinking you were like, don't touch, don't fuck with it. But yeah, that makes sense.
I'm saying don't fuck with it on like a philosophical, social level, and she's saying who cares on every other level. Who are you to decide who's not going to be born with what or is or whatever kind of genetic disease? And I'm like, what happens if the little genes are in their half-life and they figure out a worse disease?
Oh God.
You know? I don't know. Slippery slope argument.
Slippery slope.
I live on the slope, though. That's my favorite argument, is a slippery slope. I don't know. My favorite job that I don't do anything.
Oh, say it.
What if I just, if I could just like tweet people? No, that's not, I don't like that.
You could be
you
could run the Twitter account of like a brand.
Ooh, like Taco Bell, they're really good about that stuff. Maybe if I did the Twitter account for like Palmolive soap.
Is that how you say that?
Isn't it?
This whole time I thought it was palm olive.
What did I say?
Palmolive.
I guess it's Palmolive.
Girl, please, you were right thrice tonight. I'm not going to test you.
Well, who knows on that one, unless we find like the air, like Brittany Palmolive or Palmolive.
Yeah, I guess it would suck if you had to be a really very neutral brand. And you're just like, thank you.
Thanks. Hey,
We'll
can we
get
clean
back
up the
to you on that.
language? This is a soap Twitter
podcast.
page. Ooh.
Ooh.
Who should I? Who else could I reach out to?
I feel like you should try Cafe Tola because they're
I
not
thought
afraid
about
of
them.
pop culture and stuff,
True.
or just like controversy because they put Kanye on the side of their restaurant that one time. So.
Well, they still have him up there.
Oh, really?
He's on the other side.
Oh.
But that was before he did all the MAGA stuff.
Spicy.
So if anyone who listens to Beyonce, are they a Trump supporter based on like 6 degrees of separation? Because she's married to Jay-Z and he's like besties with Kanye.
But they're in a fight.
Who's in a fight?
Kanye and Jay-Z.
No, they're not, are they? Where have I been?
Google it. I'm pretty sure Kanye like got on stage and talked about it, and also Jay-Z has like commented that they're like, and on his most recent album, that they're like out of
on the fritz.
Yeah. But I know what you're saying. Like, what about John Legend? John Legend.
What did John Legend do?
John Legend and Chrissy Teigen are friends with Kim and Kanye. And I think John Legend and Chrissy Teigen are awesome people, and they often put their money where their mouth is. But also, they like had Kim and Kanye over for dinner and like tried to talk to him and like. I mean, but
it's a bit.
It's a bit.
It's an Andy Kaufman bit. What's the big deal?
I don't know, girl.
What's
I think
funnier
it's bigger
than
than
supporting Donald Trump as a pop artist?
I don't know. Normal jokes.
He's not funny though.
I know. That's not his area, but he does a lot of other things well. I think to me, it's like a bigger question of, and this is very hot topic right now.
Please.
Of how do we let back people in, if we do it all, let people back in to our communities who have trespassed on our.
What do you
mean? Like whether it's anything from Kanye to Louis C.K. to to maybe like a smaller, like someone who fucks up and says something kind of like not politically correct, but they apologize. Like it's just so hard because no one's in charge. We're all just out here. We're peers, and so like, how do we decide when they've served their time or when they've really put out a good apology or do? And like, I think like, unfortunately, I think there's too many people who are way too excited to let these people back in already, and they're like, it's fine. And I think that the focus shouldn't be on them.
Yeah.
Because the focus should probably be on the people who have been hurt.
True.
But also at the same time, I think like completely locking someone out of a community and like just cutting them off is really, really harmful. I mean, it's a form of punishment that like societies have used. It's
kind of like a prison sentence. It's like, how do you feel about inmates? Like, do you let them back into society or do you just like let them keep fucking up and going back to prison?
See, yeah, if you're talking about prison, I'm all about like reintegrating people into society. I think that's like
not on my watch.
Oh god,
I'm kidding.
We gonna
I'm sponsored by I'm sponsored by multiple private prisons.
But yeah, I mean, like at the same time, I'm probably will never ever watch a Louis C.K. special again. Like that would make me feel gross and weird, and I would be sick to my stomach. Like
I don't know how he's gonna come back though. Like I already saw that he obviously did.
Tried, yeah.
Yeah, he did a set. I would love to see the video of like everyone's reaction.
Well, like if people said that. I mean, okay, this is what the club owner said. He got an ovation, which implies standing.
Or sitting.
But I don't think that was confirmed. And I think like it might have been neutral. Like someone else said, like the women in the audience were not feeling it.
Really, I always wonder because like since we're in the comedy community and it's like very in tune and like plugged into like what is okay and what's like what kind of verbiage are you using and how do we feel on things, but like civilians, like normal people, like when you talk to them, they're so much more like easygoing and like accepting of like bullshit, whether or not it is bullshit, but like how, you know what I mean? Like artists would be like, wow, what are you like?
Yeah.
And
they're pretty high strung.
Yeah. So like I imagine
high strung is too high strung.
Exactly. So I wonder like what these people are like, dude, so he fucking jerked off in front of girls. Like why were they in the room? Or you know what I mean? Like I think it's fucking creepy on like a serial killer level. I'm like, dude, why would you get off by jerking off in front of people? That's fucking weird.
Yeah.
And like you're a stand-up comedian, so you're supposed to be like an intellectually smart guy and he has been where he's like, oh, I hate how white people do this, or like rich people or politicians. And now in the back of your mind, like aside from like everything else that he's done, and like to women and everything, that's obviously terrible. But then also you're just like, I don't want to like relate to you because you're a fucking weirdo.
Yeah. I mean, I think probably everyone has a favorite Louis C.K. joke. Not everyone, but especially comedy fans.
What's yours?
Okay, I don't know off the top of my head, but I've definitely enjoyed his sets in the past. I've been like, that's so smart.
Yeah.
And like, whoa, he really got me there.
Yeah.
Also for like people who are like, why didn't the women leave the room, or why didn't that woman hang up the phone? Like,
what's the phone thing?
Oh, one of them he called instead and
While
jerked off on the phone. So it wasn't in person. I'm pretty sure. Oh God, I hope I'm not confusing it with a different bad dude because I've read so many different stories about them. But I'm pretty sure it was him. Oh God, I should probably Google it. But I'm pretty sure there was one on the phone.
Damn.
But it happened to someone because I was reading a think piece about it as one is wont to do.
Sure.
But like I think like if you've ever been in a fight or flight situation, sometimes the thing that your body does is not helpful. Like I felt someone coming up behind me recently in the dark at night, and my body froze up, and it didn't do anything. And I was like, this is not helpful. Or like even like during moments of like being catcalled or being creeped out, like I haven't had the most productive response ever. And like it's like a fear freeze up, like you just like want, like it's like I think it's like the thing where you're like a small animal and you see a bigger animal and you're just gonna kind of pretend you're dead until they go away. Like sometimes you don't have the will to walk out of the room. Like sometimes you're frozen in place, or sometimes you just don't want to upset a famous comedian who might be your hero.
Right.
Like I understand why people are like, if I was that woman, I would have done this. And it's like you don't know what you're gonna do until it happens.
I know what I would have done if someone started shooting up my school when I was in high school. I'm like, no, you don't.
No, you don't. You would not have been the hero.
You can think and guess, but like, I mean, you might have, but you don't know.
You might have, but it is not what most people. What happens to most people?
Yeah, it's. Yeah, dude, I don't know.
Yeah. I just think I understand why people are like, why didn't they go to the police? Da, 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 da. But I think it's just like, if you know someone who it happened to, what you probably do and you might not know it. Yeah. You feel so many different things, and like sometimes it's your friend. Like most of the time it's a friend. Sure. And you don't know how to feel, and you're just like, I'm not going to get them in trouble. I'm just going to let this one go. Mm-hmm. And that's your call.
Yeah. I mean, you can't. I imagine it's like when it happens and like the short time after that, you're just kind of just like, what the fuck was that? And you're like, do I call the cop? Like, he didn't touch me, but like, just fucking, I didn't want him. You know, like, I don't know. Like, there's no fucking manuscript or on how you should feel or how to react. So
Yeah, or just like you need to go to the authorities because what if he does it to someone else? Is
Right.
it something that people say?
it's tough to be the whistleblower. You're like, do I ruin this person's life forever? Like,
And
it's
guess
heavy.
what? If he does it to someone else, it's only one person's fault. His fault.
Yeah,
It's not the fault of the person that it happened to
I like
before.
that. That's fair.
It sucks, and maybe if it was a different time or place, or if you had we were in a different place in your life, maybe you could have done something and it could have helped. But it's not your job to babysit a predator.
Yeah,
It's only one person's fault, the person who did it.
yeah.
And I think that's something that like some women are racked by guilt with, and it's like you couldn't do it at the time, and that's okay. Like let
Yeah.
that go.
I also just thought about like what's going to happen when are people going to start like chiming in during his set? You know, someone pays a ticket and they're like, I'm going to fucking ruin this guy's set. You know what I mean? Like some fucking person with a vendetta or just like fuck this guy. Can you imagine? Like that's like the toughest job to come back to after that.
Yeah.
Where you're
I
like, I
mean-
need the entire audience quiet and on my side for an hour. And then someone's like getting kicked out, bringing up what you did and making everyone regret buying a ticket or like.
Oh God. I mean, I would say I hope that someone who has that idea has a better idea of what to do with their money than to go and do that. But
Maybe
that's exactly what they want to do
Kickstarter.
with
What
their
is
money.
it? Kickstarter? Yeah.
Oh yeah, they could do a GoFundMe or Kickstarter for a ticket. But at the same time, like that's always a risk of doing any kind of performance.
True.
Like if you were a Second City performer, people sometimes heckle, and they got
Yeah, but they're like, where'd your hair go? Or like, whatever, sweetheart. Like, yeah, I'm thinking of me. Like, what are they going to get me for? Your beard doesn't connect, you fucking idiot.
Where'd your? That's so rude and also so not creative. Like fuck that imaginary person.
Where'd your hair go? Fuck the imaginary person in my
It's like,
head.
haven't you ever seen a person who's experiencing a certain level of balding before? You know where my hair is.
It's
what
gone.
are you talking about?
I have high testosterone, baby. That's always what I tell my haters,
what- yeah.
my bald haters. Where my bald haters at? Fuck you. I love being bald. It's the best thing that ever happened to me.
Really?
Yeah, it's fucking
Best thing.
Maybe not the best thing, but it's definitely top 10. Maybe if I could name balding patterns on memes, that would be my dream job.
Whoa.
Side note.
Say some.
Maybe like a,
Front to back.
oh, we got a turnstile.
Oh, like literally coming up with names.
Wow, English garden up there.
Whoa, what's that?
I don't know. Maybe it looks like a hedgehog. It was like,
My dad has like the top, the highest point of his head. was
oh,
the
so back here is
Yeah,
bald?
the bald spot.
That's the toughest one, I
That
think.
came first, and then it's spreading.
And it's
So he has a
going
front.
towards the forehead.
Yeah, going
That's the
towards-
toughest.
I might agree with you. I think that your kind is very, very distinguished.
What do you mean?
It looks nice.
Oh, thank you. It's
Like-
all about keeping it short. Otherwise, if the sides,
Mm-hmm.
the what are the sides in a theater called? The wings.
Uh-huh.
If my wings start coming out, I'm fucked. I'm a dead man. I'm a dead man walking.
Right. You have to keep it all pretty tight,
Yes.
and that's money,
That is the discipline.
an expense, and some discipline.
Oh, it's no. I mean, it's an electric bill.
Oh,
I do it myself, and then my
that's very
roommate
cool.
just cleans my neck.
Wow,
And then
that's
I
a
ha-
nice roommate.
Yeah, she's very nice. Shout out to Susan Deesh. I have my
Shout out to
clip-on rat tail
Oh,
for when I go out Saturday nights. What was I going to say though?
wow.
The toughest one has got to be the bald from the back. It's like Sun Tzu's The Art of War. If you ever read that,
I thought I had, but now I don't know because I can't understand why they relate.
it's like the enemy, like a civilization is destroyed from within.
Mm-hmm.
So
Would you like to be in a war before you die?
I think about this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't get drafted. I know that
Why?
because my elbow's fucked. Like,
That'll rule you out.
yeah,
An elbow?
they'll do a physical. They're like, can you extend your arm out and can you hang by your like? It's just it feels
Wow.
brittle all the time. So they wouldn't let me. But I could maybe fake it or just like I gotta fight.
Mm-hmm.
I've thought about that.
I think
I'm
I
getting
would be
old.
pretty useless.
Me?
I would.
Oh no, you could be like an engineer or like a drone pilot or a fucking.
I come from
regular
military family, so I when I was a kid, I would think about what I would do.
Air Force pilot.
Yeah, my dad is an Air Force psychologist, and so I always thought that's what I would do.
You'd be great.
Well,
You'd
he was.
perfect
Now
size for
he's
a cockpit.
retired, and now he's a psychologist for as a government contractor. But yeah,
I could see you getting a tattoo of something and flying an A-10 Warthog and spanking a bunch of ISIS fucks.
No, I really don't think that's me. I mean, I know some people don't have the privilege of choosing, and they just have to. But I don't. If I had to pick, I do not think that I would be good at anything involving any kind of coordination or conflict.
Okay.
Or
medic?
Targeting. I mean, if I had any kind of medical education.
You don't need a medical education. They'll teach you that.
They'll teach me.
For a medic?
Well, I think my number one pick would be to be a psychologist like my dad.
That's probably the most useful.
And also your family can relax because you're safe. 99% of the time you're not going outside the wire.
I like that.
And that is another privilege that I got to experience when he was deployed, is like most kids who have deployed dads are probably thinking about them every single night and worrying about whether they're going to be alive.
Right.
I didn't have to worry about that.
Damn.
Pretty lucky.
Would you go if you got if a war broke out?
I think so, yeah.
Would you?
I would be like, I'm going to be terrible, but I'll try.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's where I come from. Both of my grandfathers. I have a Marine grandfather, an Army grandfather, and an Air Force dad.
Damn.
So like I'm just like I have to.
Yeah.
You have to do your service.
Sure.
I feel like everyone has to do some kind of public service before they die.
Yeah.
Should be a law. But like you don't have to serve in the military. Like you could I think teaching is public service, and like being a firefighter or a nurse or something like that.
Like teach for AmeriCorps, like Teach for America, whatever.
So you should ask Kelly about that. I know some teachers don't really like Teach for America.
Oh, just because it takes jobs away from full-time teachers.
Or I think like it encourages inexperienced people who haven't gotten a degree in it to go out and like help underprivileged students and like then leave in a few years. And like, are you really serving? I don't know. I don't know the answers.
I mean, it's a very good. It's like a chess, not checkers kind of a thing. It's like, if you really want to do good, or if you really want to think about what you're doing, like, because I did like what's called like volunteerism, where like I went and taught in Peru, bunny ears for 4 weeks in a small school, and
you
like
call quotes bunny ears,
huh?
You call quotes bunny ears?
Yeah. Do you?
No, I call them quote unquote.
Quote unquote. Okay.
Like quote unquote. Tourism.
Volunteerism.
I usually do a voice too, I guess.
Volunteerism.
But I like calling them bunny ears.
Yeah.
I think that's nice.
I just heard a really fun term or way of calling raccoons.
Uh-oh.
Trash pandas.
Aww. That's very sweet.
My buddy Mick called them that. And he's like, he was talking about some baseball team called the St. Louis Trash Pandas. And I was like, why the fuck are they the trash pandas? He's like a raccoon. I was like, oh, that's my new favorite thing.
That is really fun. I like that.
Yeah. And last week, because I kind of shaved my sides.
Your wings?
Yeah. My
lower wings.
My mandible wings.
Ooh.
Mandible wings. My manager walked by because I just had the mustache. She's like, Jim, loving the lip sweater. I was like, that's another good one.
Wow.
Lip sweater.
Wow. See, and you can grow facial hair.
It doesn't connect though.
Okay, so Chase tried this weekend.
Chase tried this weekend.
Or like I was like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I think. But like he got really frustrated because it was like patchy. And I feel like I don't notice stuff like that. Unless it was like, if it was like really terrible, I probably would have noticed. I think he just got mad because it like didn't really connect. It didn't have like a consistent, it was like it was up and down and coming in various paces and stuff.
It's tough. For the longest
Just
time. Like mine finally connected on my left side, but my right is still like, you can see.
Mm-hmm.
And there's I have like a bald spot on my face.
That's my brother has that too.
Yeah.
I think it's where he was scarred though.
Oh shit, that's cool.
But I do see okay, yeah.
And then I have a swirl right here on my left.
I noticed that today.
Yeah.
When we went to go get empanadas.
Yeah, I have a lot of things going on with my beard.
But I think if I see you, I'm not like, what the fuck? I'm like that's Jimmy. That's his look.
It's like little scruff, but
yeah. Like he's got like the scruff going on.
Yeah. I'd kill for a beard.
It doesn't bother me. Really?
Fuck. Because I mean, like, I already lost my hair.
Wants to kiss you.
What?
I don't know.
With a beard?
Yeah, because it's scratchy.
Oh.
I guess if it's really, really soft.
if she's going to be okay with 5 sons, she better be okay with a damn beard.
You're going to be scouring Craigslist, girl. And be short.
Looking for a lady, looking for 5 sons and a beard. I make my own kombucha, and I live in southern Alaska.
Oh, golly.
I used to be on a Herald team in Chicago, and now I make...
Was it your second team or your third?
Second.
Snowball before that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What do you think? Are you going to do one again?
I'd like to. I don't know if I will.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I had my best shows with Lou Malnati's.
It's always so hard to know. I mean, I feel like as a person who's been on 4, first of all, I'm very like, every team has its lifespan and you just never know when's going to get cut, and that's fine. Like I don't mean to be like, you know, if you're sad, you're stupid. I just mean like I'm just not there anymore.
Sure.
But it's also like I totally understand why you care. Caring is nice. But also, it's like, it's really hard to know. Like, every time I wonder if they're going to put me back on another team.
Yeah.
Every time I'm like, I think I probably have run out the clock with this place. They're, like, sick of my tricks. Because I would say that I am not a technically good improviser. Like, I would never teach because I know that I do not do good improv. And even if I taught, like, from the book, if anyone who was a student of mine ever came and saw me, they'd be like, you don't do anything you say to do.
But I disagree. I think you're a very good improviser. You're very funny.
Thank you. This is a brag. I think I am funny. I do not think I'm a good improviser. And I think that I've ridden on that on a relatively quick-wittedness. There are some who are so fast they make me like feel like an idiot. But I think I'm relatively quick-witted. Unless I'm really
tired. Very, very witty.
Thank you, G.
Yeah.
As are you. As our whole team is so smart.
I have a lot of witty people.
Lightning.
I was the dumbest person on that team. As
Not
far as like
true.
100%.
Not true.
And there's no need to.
We had no dummies. Everyone was a genius.
Yes, queen.
No, I just mean like I've skated on some wittiness, and I never really invested in character.
Yeah.
And I think that it's starting to show. And I think like it's like a magician, and like it's like, you know, you can only see the same trick so many times. You're like, okay.
But and also, that's like with every performer, though, if you think about it. So
everyone has their weak areas.
Yeah, and you're a veteran performer. You're very funny. I think you're a very good improviser. I can see team number 5 coming around.
That means I'm old. Team number 5.
What's the longest team run you've had?
Like a CIC team. But are you just talking Herald teams?
Yeah.
My first team was probably 6 months, maybe 7.
What'd you do?
I'm a team killer. And then my second team was probably like almost a year. It was the one I was on with Eddie, Shania.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was on Sears Tower for like 5 months. And then Sears Tower.
Cool, though. They were my favorite.
They were my favorite. Fuck. And I think I got a little bit better when I played with them for those months. And then and then it all went away. Which is like totally like, I mean, like, how are they to know that like a player is going to like get Torco and then main stage and then another one? And then like a lot of them like are like a little bit older than me.
Yeah. And
like have real lives and like real families and real careers. And like they can't be there every single Tuesday. And like it was time for Sears Tower to go. But it was such a cool experience, and I learned so much.
Yeah.
Damn. And then I had some months off, and I subbed in a lot. I think I like let them know I wasn't in a rush. Like I told the commission, I was like, I'm not in any hurry, and they like had me sub in with some people, and I think that was kind of nice to just be like a flex player. I don't know. I think there's a word for that. I just can't remember. And then Blues was what were we? 9 months, 10 months. Maybe we're coming up on a year?
No, we got formed in October, so 11 months.
11 months. This was maybe one of my longest ones. This was Shania.
Yeah.
They were probably really close in how long.
Damn. Who was Scott Elam or Elam?
Mm-hmm. Elam.
Mm-hmm. Does he still perform at I never see him.
So as far as I know, the last one he did was Sears. But I could be wrong.
He was my favorite.
He was so funny. He's so funny and so smart.
His voice was just like enough, and then like on top of that, very witty and like 100% like heart and intellectual player. Like cracked me up.
Jimerson. Yeah. I would just watch him do anything.
Jimerson, Murdoch.
Emma Murdoch. Oh my God.
Fuck. Yeah.
I'm definitely missing someone right now. Oh, Maria. incredible. Katie
Yeah.
McLean, who was put on
Katie,
it at
yeah.
the same time as me,
She's great, Dumb John.
a genius. A genius.
I love watching Dumb John.
Yeah.
Yeah, very,
There's
very
so many
funny
good people. I was thinking about that the other day. Is like, there's a lot of bad improv, and I think about that a lot. I get angry about that a lot. I'm like, how is this art form supposed to survive when 90% of it is so bad?
Our show on Sunday. I
Our
was
show
like,
on-
cut it. Cut
Lights!
it. Which sucks because the show before that was so good.
I know.
And then the one before that was brutal at Latinx. Woo!
I wasn't there for that one, but the
They-
one before that was bad too.
Really?
Because it was like a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Wait, I can't remember what it was. I think it was the 8:00. I think we opened for Artemis, and I was like, oh my God, that was so bad.
Latinx was brutal because there was maybe 3 people in the audience, and there was like an additional 3 commission people. I was like, fuck.
That's the thing. That's what it is.
Why are you at the Latinx show?
That's the thing is like you cannot pick the
Christ.
shows that the commission watches. And like it sucks to get that email that's like, hey, we saw a lot of your shows and to be frank, they weren't up to par. Like that hurts, but also like they are basically in quality control.
Yeah.
And we're a product.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're a very profitable product, the whole theater. I don't know what the fucking profit margin's looking like. But we are a product that they put
Sure.
out. And if we're not up, if
We're
we
not
don't
clicking, we're not
meet
clicking,
inspection, we gotta go. And that sucks because I know how really, really great everyone on the
Yeah.
team is. And like, you could say that about a lot of teams if you catch a certain show. Or if you catch the next show, you're going to say something different. And it just like, that's just how things shook out. And every team has a lifespan, and most of them are less than a year.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah. I know some people get lucky. Like their 5B team was their forever team.
Freaking, whatchamacallem?
Devil's Daughter?
Are they a 5B team?
I don't know.
Holy cow.
I have no idea. I might have just made that up.
Comet, I'm thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
Comet's great.
Comet's so good.
But they're 5B. They're like on 3 years now or 4.
Yeah. Like, whoa. But
and
also,
they're all like heavy hitters
once you get
since
that,
5B.
once you start going on 2 years, you lose people and you start adding people.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I mean, like, I feel like Big Spoon, like, is a team that's like, it may have been a 5B team. In fact, I think it
Really?
was. But
They're great.
I think they have gained and lost so many people that at this point it's like just a team,
Sure.
which
Frank-
is fine too.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that was Sears when I got on Sears.
Right. Damn. So what's your
I forget about talking about improv so much.
yeah, right? The middle age crisis. What's yours going to be, do you think?
That's so hard. I think this is cop out, but I think I'm going to get so, if we have kids, I'm going to get so into kids that I'm going to be one of those people that needs to be told to chill.
You're going to be a helicopter mom?
I'm scared that I will. I think both of my parents will admit that they have some light helicopter tendencies.
Damn.
And I think I'm a control freak. I'm all those things. And I'm like really nervous. I don't want to be, I want to be involved. I don't want to be like, have a drink. But I want to.
Miranda Lambert wine.
Oh my God. That's
so
me.
good.
But yeah, I just don't want to be suffocating. Or like make them think that they have to earn my love through a certain level of success in various areas.
Yeah. I was walking by a playground on the way from work because I got dropped off by a buddy, so I never walked by the school. But this kid was like swinging at another kid, and the mom like ran up and she like grabbed her kid and she's like, "You can't do that." I was like, "What am I gonna do when like my kid starts getting bullied?" Because I was like bullied a little bit, but I was always just like I'd sell myself out to not get bullied. And yeah, it's just like, what do I don't know how I would even react with like, do I like make my kid tough it out? Because I don't think my parents would have done that. Or like, do I have to like step up? And I'm not the most confrontational person.
Me neither.
Unless I've got like a belly full of liquor in me.
Oh golly.
And then I'm a pain in the ass.
Or do you like pull them out of school? Or you're just like, we're going to a new school now.
Yeah, right?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like, I don't know. I know that I was not, my family came back from Germany right as I was starting middle school. And I was so behind. Like I didn't listen. It was just 6th grade, but it quickly started to show. Like that I didn't know what clothes to wear. My backpack was square because it was from Europe. And it was this weird boxy backpack and it just looked so different, which is like dumb. But like when you're that age, everything like that matters. And like
Sure.
I was like just like everything was behind. I didn't know what music people listened to, and like, and it took me a really long time. And like, I think I really wanted my siblings to know, because I was the oldest, I wanted them to know how to be cool in case that might save them. And I don't think I wasn't even really bullied. I was mercifully like kind of just ignored. I'm sure that like I was in my own bubble a lot, and I was so naive and so happy-go-lucky that there were probably moments, like I remember being like in 7th grade and seeing a lot of the girls that I thought were my friends get into a mom's car after school and drive away. And at the time I was like, huh. But now I'm like, they were hanging out without you, you idiot. Like that is like a thing. That's like a thing that happens like when you're not cool enough and they're going to start ditching you.
Yeah.
And like, fortunately, like high school kind of like was like bigger, and like I like did a light, low key, just like, I'm not as weird, but like I was mostly just like a weirder kid who was just like a little slow to be like, oh, this is what teens do. Like, I wasn't ready to be a teen.
Yeah.
But, like, I wanted to tell my siblings, like, don't wear this. Like, do this. And, like, do this. And, like, you should listen to this. And, like, in case it might have helped them, which I'm like, will I do that to my kids? Will I try to teach them to be cool in case it might save them pain? And that would be terrible. I don't think that would be a good strat. That's not a fucking strategy.
Right. And chances are what you think is cool probably won't even work then.
Right. Exactly.
Like how being a nerd is cool now.
But like, okay, like here's an example. Like I never had a pedicure, and like 8th grade, my friend and her mom were like, for your birthday, we're going to take you to get a pedicure because we know you've never had one, and like it'll be cool to have your toenails painted and you might like it. And like I think
At
that
what
was
age?
Like 13.
Okay.
It's not that crazy at all. I mean, I took my mom to get her first pedicure for like her like 50th birthday. Like my mom was just like, she's a natural beauty, and she never like, she's not a makeup person. Like she just like, if you see pictures of her, it's good. Like she didn't have to think about stuff like that, but I did. But like she, like yeah, they just took me to do this, and I think like now looking back, I'm like, I think that was like an act of kindness to be like, this is something that some girls do, and like I wonder if I would like be like, okay, like you're my kid. Is this something you'd want to do? Do you want to do this? Because some people do it. Or do you want to get your hair cut at like a really nice place? Because my mom would take us to Fantastic Sam's, and it was just like,
is that like Supercuts?
Yeah, like it was just like straight up, And I'm like, you're 14 today.
Yeah.
Is that something you're interested in? If it's not, that's totally cool too. But like, like to like feel special and pretty or whatever, like because that is a very fucking serious thing at that age. Or am I like, fuck the system, we're gonna all shave our heads? Like that's a lot.
That would be. I went to private school, so it was always
that's a lot.
Uniform, which was very nice.
But that helps.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
100%.
I wish.
Because I would have been toast.
But was this a thing where the cool kids knew to wear their uniforms a certain way?
Always.
And they
popped collar, or they would wear two.
Or a brand. Could you have logos?
No, it was like Docker pants or like khaki pants, and then like you had like 4 shirt colors to choose from.
Yeah.
It was like a white one, a blue one, a red one, and maybe a gold one.
Yeah.
But I was so skinny, just like I was always swimming in them. But like the kids would have like cool shoes, and I would have like middle of the road, like middle class shoes.
Yeah, they find the way to show that they're cool. I was thinking about that today. I like was thinking about how like some girls just like knew exactly what to do with puberty, like right away. And like, was there a meeting that I missed? And then I'm like, no, it wasn't a meeting. It was money. Mm-hmm. I think it was almost always money, where they like had beautiful hair and like beautiful clothes and like, I mean, but like their like bodies weren't doing anything too freaky.
Yeah.
Whereas like I felt like I was just being like attacked by puberty. Like it was. I was not in charge. Acne? I had very bad acne. I know some people deal with really intense acne. I just had very persistent acne that didn't respond to the normal solutions.
Same.
I mean, I sweated like crazy, sweat, and I still do.
Yeah.
Like, I just need to apply deodorant like a couple times a day. Like,
do you do antiperspirant?
I don't anymore because it was giving me yellow sweat, I think. I still have kind of yellow sweat. That's another thing is like I never was like it's not a feminine gross. It's a gross. Like I stink. I sweat yellow. Like there's like you know how some people like.
You're not eating enough chicken. That's what that yellow is.
Really?
I don't know. Bullshit.
I thought it was like when aluminum interacts with your sweat.
I thought that's what it was.
I thought that's what it is. I think it definitely decreased it, but it's still a little yellow. And white shirts, don't wear them.
Yeah, white shirts are tough for me too. Mm-hmm. I read some
just
bro.
gross like a boy.
You remember that bro book that I bought? And before one of our rehearsals, everyone was shitting on me for it. It was like Own the Day, Own Your Life.
I don't think I was there for that.
I have it somewhere over there. Or I don't know where it is. Anyways, he was talking about, there it is.
It's a lady.
It's a dude in his fiance.
Lady on the back.
Yeah. I like it a lot. But he talks about how, like, teeth whitening. He's like, you have to remember that, like, yeah, you're whitening your teeth, but then your gums are absorbing those chemicals and it's going to your liver. So it's just like, I was like, oh yeah, you're right. So then I started thinking more about, like, I've always had in the back of my mind, like, aluminum can't be good, but, like, when you really think about it, you're just putting aluminum onto an organ, your skin, and it absorbs it. Because, like, where is that aluminum going? It goes into your body.
Yeah.
So you have fucking metal. Like, of course that causes
All up in
cancer
ya.
and stuff like that.
All up in you.
Yeah, so I've been off it for like 2 weeks now.
Wow. Should I read this or is it really just for boys?
I think it's for everyone.
I love, like, life guides.
They're fun.
I love inspirational quotes and life guides.
I love inspirational quotes. And
love
what is it? Goalcast? Do you ever follow those?
Okay,
or watch
no, but
them?
I've heard of it.
It's great.
Like they'll like put like if you're scrolling
Violin
through
music?
Facebook.
Yeah.
I deleted Facebook, but if you're scrolling through and it'll be like, here's a speech that this person gave when they won an award.
Steve Jobs
Yeah.
was born in a raccoon's nest, and you're like,
Lord.
oh my god,
Trash Panda.
Trash Panda.
That's
Yeah,
a callback. That's something I did pick up in improv class.
callbacks. Callbacks are great for
Callbacks are great.
when you can pull off a callback with like a coworker who doesn't do comedy. They're like, whoa.
Or if you just happen to go to a show that's for people, like if you get a weekend slot, you go to a show that's for people that don't see comedy.
Yeah.
Or just like the audience is mostly composed, because most of the shows we do is students,
Yeah.
fellow performers, and improv psychos.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on those.
I've never met one. They've never wanted to talk.
I've seen a few.
It's a rare breed.
It's a rare breed, and it's respect, but also fear.
I love that. That's going to be the subtitle of my show.
Ooh.
Respect, but also fear.
But also fear. I fear them. But like when you do a show for normal people, you're like, do a very I saw someone like do like a car driving move, like just like they were like doing this, and some person in the car commented like, you're just spinning us in circles, because they just kept doing this, and like it was just really dumb, like calling out something that someone's doing on stage.
Yeah.
And the audience lost their minds because they were like, he is, that's what's happening, oh my gosh, like, or just like really simple callbacks, but are not simple. It's the magic that got you into it in the first place.
Yeah.
And it's so impressive.
It is crazy.
The first time you see it.
Yes. When someone who doesn't watch improv, they see it and they're like, wow.
Yeah.
I remember. I still have like friends that are like, I remember I saw one of your sets and your name was Geppetto. I thought that was so fucking funny.
A silly name.
I'm like, really?
Silly name goes a really long way.
That would get like crickets at like IO 10 o'clock on a Tuesday.
As we know. As we literally just learned.
Yeah. All right. You want to wrap this up?
Yeah, let's do it.
What do you want to plug?
Oh my God, nothing.
Show, CIC, IO.
My CSC team's cut. My IO team's cut.
Your CIC team is cut?
My CSC team is retired.
Damn.
Yeah.
Already? Mm-hmm. Fuck.
I'm just chilling.
Where could we have seen your show? Well, good for you.
Thank you.
You got to chill. And it's like, this is good writing season.
I know. I'm trying to. I think it was Jen Jackson who told me like, if you want to be a writer, which I do, she's like, you should check and make sure you're not improvising more hours a week than you're writing. And I was like, I'm definitely improvising way more hours a week. So I'm trying to balance that.
Yeah. Even now, I'm still just trying to like, I realized it maybe like a year ago. I was like, okay, I'm doing 5 to 6 shows a week. And I'm just spinning my tires.
Right. And when you move here, it's important to say yes to everything, or as many things as you can, because you want to meet as many people as you can, try as many of the different kinds of things there are to try as you can, find out what you like, find out what you're good at, gross word, but network in a non-gross, slimy way, just in a normal way of like meeting people that you might want to work with. But then a couple years in, you need to switch to saying no to almost everything and only focusing on the stuff that's going to take you to the next thing.
Yep.
And you have to be it like feels wrong.
Because, you're like, oh, look at my fucking calendar. I have nothing but shows. You're like, also like, all right, see you in 10 years when you're still doing this.
Right, which unfortunately, right now, it doesn't pay to do improv unless you are improvised Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Specifically Blaine.
And even then, like, you probably want to be doing something else.
Right. Because even Second City, you have to write.
Yeah.
And comedy sports, you get paid a little, but like none of these things, you're not making a living. Not even Second City. If you're at the top of the heap there.
Yeah.
But like even then, you're looking for the next income bracket of comedy because.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I've made it to the very, very bottom depths of the ocean of being paid to do art.
It's bleak.
Yeah, so like right now we're like the center of the earth, and then you like barely break into like the bottom of the ocean. You're like, oh.
Yeah, Chicago can't retain any talent because there's no money.
It's like, again, with another ocean metaphor, it's like you're in a submarine or a boat, and the water's coming up, so you're like doing improv, and you're coming up to the like the ceiling of the submarine, and you have to figure out another avenue to like get up to, you know, like the water.
And you check your phone, and no one paid you.
Yeah,
that's the thing is like you're like I'm drowning in. Also, no one paid me.
Yeah.
But also, okay, I'm sorry. I know you're trying to wrap this up.
No.
Do you ever watch Chef's Table?
This is we can go another hour. I don't give a damn. We'll watch TV and comment on it. I don't know. I know what it is.
Yeah, it's just like profiles a chef.
Okay.
But like and I think this is not an original thought. I always noticed the like crossover between becoming a chef and becoming a comedian. Like a lot of the things, like you have to learn the rules before you break the rules. You have to find a mentor. You have to
a mentor.
A mentor. Huh?
For comedy? For
chefing? Or like a lot of people are helped by finding a mentor, like a teacher who really changed their life or a chef. And another thing is like a lot of times what brings you success is being true to yourself. But first you have to go out and learn how to do it someone else's way before you can come back and be like, this is the sauce, the secret sauce I had all along is being myself and doing what I like. But you have to go out and learn someone else's way before you can come back and be you and open the restaurant that's like very true to you.
True.
Like all these things I'm like, whoa, that reminds me of comedy and like work. There's no substitute for work. Every chef is completely different, but the one thing they have in common is hard work and like spooky levels of just abandoning every other responsibility in their life. You know, so and like totally understand if you don't want to do that. But the really awesome thing about being a chef is if you want to start at the lowest levels, you can still get paid. You can just be someone's lowest rung in a kitchen. It still sucks. It's really hard, but you're still getting paid to learn. And so your day job can be your passion, even when you're the lowest person on the like rankings. And that's what's different with comedy is you have to do so much unpaid work and there are no guarantees.
A lot, and a lot of like, what the fuck am I doing for years maybe?
And most of us have to have a day job that's not what we want to do, which can distract you or it can help you. But yeah, that's the difference. But unfortunately, people don't pay for comedy like they pay for food.
True.
The money's just not there.
What if they had to?
What if they were forced to?
What if they... That's why I'm a big Donald Trump fan, because he makes people so depressed and they come out to see our show. For the record, I did not vote. Well, my listeners know I didn't vote for him, so...
Who did you vote for?
Guess.
I know you didn't vote for Hillary.
Why would I? I'm a Latin American. I care about feminists in Latin America, and I believe that poor people should be given a fair shot at life. Did you vote for
Jill Stein?
No. I would have voted for Jill. She would have been my second.
Who did you vote for?
Mr. Smoking Gary Johnson.
Oh, good
Libertarian. Of course I voted for Gary Johnson. I have a buddy that I work with who will not tell me who he votes for in any election. He looks at me like I'm a union mob boss coming at him to like beat his ass and take his kids if I don't get information out of him.
That's his call, but
it's so lame.
How close can you be to that friend?
Exactly.
How close?
I mean, I know who he voted for.
How?
Well, I know he didn't vote for Trump because all he does is bitch about Trump.
Okay.
But I'm like, I don't know. Maybe he voted for Gary.
Maybe he did vote for Trump and then
no,
he's mad about it. Why he did?
He would never vote for Trump.
Do you regret your vote at all?
No. You still have to be my friend. I didn't vote. This was the first time that I voted with what I believed in. Mm-hmm. Every other election I've ever voted, my guy has always lost. I've never voted for the winning candidate. I voted for John Kerry in 2004, who I don't like. But I was like, well, I don't want.
I wasn't old enough.
Yeah, I don't want W to win.
My first vote was Obama's second election.
Really? How old are you again? 27?
I'm 26.
26. Oh, damn. Okay.
So I think I might have done a midterm before that.
Gotcha.
But my first like presidential vote cast was his second.
Okay. Yeah.
To beat Romney.
Romney. I voted for Romney. I voted for Kerry and then McCain. Arizona boy. I have to.
Chase voted for McCain. Oh man, I have
Did he
to put
really?
his business out there like that.
Chase
because he was
voted
a young
for John
Republican. He grew
Was
up and then the
he?
second time
Oh.
he voted for Obama. I hope I'm not getting
I
that wrong,
love
but I
that.
think.
I'm
Listen,
gonna
I
get him
shouldn't
a
be
McCain
putting him
shirt.
on blast like that. You should have him on the podcast.
Yeah, but
so
now-
he can speak for himself.
But I would love to have him on.
Yeah, but he's like someone who changed like that.
Oh, I've changed.
He was a
many
registered
times.
Republican.
I was a fucking registered Democrat and then registered Republican, and now I'm a registered Libertarian or Independent.
I'll fight you on that, but that's another podcast.
Fair. Thank you again for doing this, Claire.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. I can't wait to fight you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Claire Favret, for coming down and laying down some wisdom on my dumb ass. That was a lot of fun. We talked about literally everything that we could have talked about. And I learned a lot. We loved a lot. We laughed a lot. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. So, again, thank you to Claire for coming down to Studio A. Feels good to be back. Also, stay tuned. I'm working on a new podcast with my good friends Vince Locke and Alex Rayner, where we rank a category or a topic or a subject, something like U.S. states. So we'll take 50 item or 50 whatever, and we rank them. So I think I'm doing a real good job of explaining it. But it should be fun. And then we're also working on making it available on video. So if you're listening to this still and you know a lot about streaming stuff on video, whether it's live to like YouTube or Facebook, please help me, because I'm not a greenhorn. I'd say I'm a novice or maybe like corporal ranking in the military when it comes to technology. So thank you again for listening. If it wasn't for you guys, I would not get out of bed. I would stay in my bed and just finish writing fucking great novels like I usually do. So thank you and have a great morning, afternoon, or weekend. Bye.